The ownership answer that sounds great, but fails the bar raiser. Most candidates list every possible cause of production degradation without ever demonstrating they were actually watching their model closely enough to catch it themselves. The question is, your model passed offline evaluation, but online metrics degraded after launch. Walk me through how you diagnose this. This question tests ownership, which at Amazon means you are accountable for your model's behavior in production, not just at the moment you shipped it. The bar raiser is listening for whether you have an instrumented, systematic debugging process, or whether you're improvising a list of guesses. Here is how most MLE candidates answer this question about production model degradation.
When I see a gap between offline and online metrics, I start by thinking through the common root causes. First, I'd look at data drift, whether the input distribution has shifted since training. Then I'd check for training serving skew, making sure the feature engineering logic is consistent between the two environments. I'd also consider label quality issues or delayed feedback loops. I'd pull some sample predictions and compare them to what we'd expect offline. Once I narrow it down, I'd work with the data engineering team to fix the pipeline.
No evidence candidate had monitoring in place before degradation was detected. Diagnosis framed as reactive hypothesis list, not an instrumented process. No mention of who caught the degradation or how, passive framing throughout. Here is what I am writing in the debrief right now. Item 1. Candidate lists failure modes, but shows no pre-existing monitoring instrumentation. Item 2. No signal of proactive detection. Degradation appears discovered passively. Item 3. Diagnosis is hypothesis-driven guesswork, not a systematic, observable debugging process. Item 4. Defers pipeline fix to data engineering without asserting end-to-end model accountability. Verdict: does not demonstrate ownership. Same question, same production failure. Now listen to how an ownership signal answer is structured.
I had this happen on a ranking model I owned. We saw CTR drop roughly 4% in the first 48 hours post-launch. I had dashboards tracking feature distribution skew, prediction score distributions, and label delay in real time. So I knew within hours it wasn't a serving infrastructure issue. I isolated it to a feature that was computed differently at serving time than at training time. A freshness signal that used request time in training, but event time in production. I filed a fix, rolled back the feature, and shipped a corrected version within a week. After that, I added a pre-launch skew check to our deployment checklist, so this class of failure would be caught before the next launch.
Pre-existing monitoring cited immediately. Candidate owned the system before failure. Specific metric given: 4% CTR drop with a 48-hour detection window. Root cause isolated to a concrete, reproducible serving skew, not a vague hypothesis. Proactive mechanism added to prevent recurrence. Shows systems thinking, not firefighting. Notice what changed. The candidate already had instruments on this model before anything broke. Item 1. Real-time monitoring dashboards were in place before degradation occurred. Proactive ownership. Item 2. Quantified business impact immediately. 4% CTR drop within 48 hours of launch. Item 3. Root cause precisely identified as training serving skew on a named specific feature signal. Item 4. Added a deployment checklist gate. Demonstrates learning and systemic prevention, not just repair. Verdict: strong signal. Raises the bar. Before your loop, run your story through these 3 questions. Question 1. Did you have monitoring in place before the degradation was reported? If no, the bar raiser reads you as someone who shipped and walked away. Question 2. Can you name the exact root cause, not a category of causes? A list of hypotheses tells the bar raiser you are guessing, not debugging. Question 3. What mechanism did you add so this class of failure cannot happen again? Without a prevention step, your story ends at firefighting, not ownership. If you cannot answer yes to all 3, you are not yet demonstrating ownership. You are describing a reaction. How do your real stories score? Get a personalized report scored against the interview rubric Amazon uses for MLE candidates at your level. Find it at interview101.com.